take notes or not?
Well, if Ron can capture it without that, we'll
Okay.
have everything we need to condense and create something.
Okay, great.
Okay, we are live.
Well, it is 2:02 on June 12th, and it's the Forestation board meeting. So I'd like to call it to order. And as I had noticed in the agenda, because of my a little accident, I was unable to do the May minutes because I'm not really able to write or use my computer at this time. So I've got my original notes, and we can address that hopefully at the next meeting. And we can go from there. Hopefully Doug will be joining us at some point, but then I guess we can move forward. And I don't know if you've had a chance, everybody, to check your email, but Andrea did send out some notices on some additional hazardous trees that we need to discuss. So Andrea, if you want to kind of go forward with it, let's address that.
Don't think she's here.
Oh, I
She
thought
was
she
there.
was.
There she
Well,
is.
there
was.
she is.
She's
She's
popping in
here.
and out.
Andrea, are you there?
I'm here. I don't, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We do not see
I
you.
can't, I've tried to connect twice and it's not letting me. I don't know why you can't see me. Maybe I need to hit start video. Would that help?
That would help, yeah.
Okay, well, I've done it a couple times, so let me do it again. Last connected, start video. I thought I did that. It's crossed out. Oh, there.
There you are.
Okay, we're
All
in
right.
business.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
there's
The mayor has
Mr.
joined us.
Mayor.
Do you want to do your update first, and then we'll get to Andrea?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Can you see me? I can't tell if my camera's
Yes.
on or not. Okay.
Yep.
So I think I've sent an email to everybody and I've heard back from some people, but on Tuesday, we're having a tour of a landfill and the Rumpke recycling facility in Cincinnati. So if anybody wants to go who hasn't already signed up, I know Herb signed up, but you're invited. So I hope you can consider that. Let me know as soon as you can on that. Secondly, hot topic and prospect recently has been crime, meaning stolen cars in the middle of the night. And the people who leave, there are three things that our citizens could do to eliminate that. One is lock their cars. Two is close their garage doors. And three is take their valuables out of their cars. Our residents categorically refuse to do that. So this is a problem that's, Ron, it's probably been around as long as you've been with the city.
Oh, yeah.
It's Jeff Sherrard, our retired police chief, beat his head against the wall for 12 years on this topic. But the latest wrinkle is the folks came to the council meeting on last Monday, and they complained because our police officers, while they responded to the call of people in their garage, they didn't chase the perpetrators. So these are people who left their cars unlocked and left their garage door open in their unlocked car, who are now upset with the police for not chasing the bad guys. Yeah. So we've made it clear we're not chasing people on US 42 at 70 miles an hour because people leave their cars unlocked. So as you can tell, we had an officer who was struck by his car was struck by one of the fleeing perpetrators.
Oh no!
So my patience is gone, and if you don't have enough sense to lock it up for your own safety, lock it up for our police officer safety. So, and you all know that. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's important we get this word out. So if you'll help me pass the word, I would appreciate it. Next, I'll mention that we've got four Moorhead Kane scholars who are visiting Prospect this summer. They're here for 8 weeks. They're in their third week, and they're studying sustainability issues. They are, this is at no cost to the city. The scholarship that they have at the University of North Carolina includes a summer of civic engagement. It's the summer between their freshman and sophomore years. So they're phenomenal young women. We're very fortunate to have them, and have really, as I've told them, it's a breath of fresh air to have them here in Prospect. So I think that's my report.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Mayor, can I ask you something?
You may.
Okay. Ron was talking about the Kentucky Headhunters, and I mentioned Liza's brother-in-law, who's a country music star. What is his name?
Sam Bush. He's a
Bush.
bluegrass he's a bluegrass musician.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said
He had a group called Newgrass Revival many years ago, and he's in the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame in Owensboro, and he's a great guy, a great musician. Really I think probably one of the premier bluegrass musicians in the country. Very highly regarded. He knew all the legends in bluegrass music, Bill Monroe and many others.
May I ask a question?
You may.
We're going to go to the Bats ball game. How do we get the tickets? Are they at the gate?
John's getting them. He'll have them.
But how do we?
They'll be here at the front desk, and I'm hoping that'll be early next week, but I'll send out an email. Surely they'll be here a day or two
Pick them up at
before.
City Hall?
Yes.
Yeah, what John said is he'll send you an email and you'll pick them up
Okay.
at City Hall.
Great.
any tickets to the College World Series?
You're on your own.
Okay.
You're on your own.
All right. Well, good luck to her. Hope you get some tickets. I guess we can go on to the consultants update. And we were starting to talk about there were several new cases brought to our attention today with emails on several trees at Fox Harbor, one in a kind of an odd natural area off Deep Creek, and then something on Sutherland Farm Road. So, Andrea, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. Oh, I hope everybody's going to be glad when the cicadas are finally done. Are you guys having a lot of trouble with those?
We don't have any cicadas in
You
Prospect.
don't have any. Well, when I've been in Prospect, it's been pretty quiet. So I was wondering, because boy, out where
Well, they're
I
all
live,
down the Gene
up
Snyder. I know
Shelbyville
that.
Road,
Yeah,
there's-
say I was in Middletown, and then I understand Lyndon's got it really bad.
yeah, and where we live, I live out past, like out in Eastwood, sort of, and it's just been deafening, the sound from the cicadas. I mean, they're just now starting to simmer down a little, and I guess they're going back in the ground. But
I think Mayor Farnsley passed a law that they couldn't come to Prospect.
No, they're
So
coming.
You don't have them.
They just haven't been here yet.
Well, if people would
You
lock
should
their
be
cars,
glad.
they wouldn't come.
Oh, well. Yeah, well, that's good. It's interesting what areas they've been bad in, and it just totally skipped other areas. So you guys are lucky. So,
Yeah.
I've been looking at different areas in the city, and I sent a few emails. I had looked at them and then finally got photos because it's been raining so long. It seems like it rains every time I want to take a photo. I sent a few emails out earlier today to the Forestation board. I know Lee had mentioned that, I think Lee, you had mentioned a couple small trees that were declining or maybe needed to be removed on the Fox Harbor median, the second Fox Harbor median. I think one of them's that small variegated dogwood that seems to not be doing well. And I think there's also another, probably a giveaway tree that got planted in that same location. Is that what you were looking at, Lee?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're adjacent to one another.
Right. And I could send a picture for y'all to look at, but that might be something we want to, they're not going to get any better, that's for sure. You've probably seen them. And then the one Linda mentioned, one of the ones was on Deep Creek. It's across the street from 6612 Deep Creek Drive. Ron, I think is that city-owned property there? It's
That
kind
is-
of a.
That
Is
is
that
not.
an
That is
MSD
owned by
area?
the. I am not sure which one owns it, but it would be owned by one of the two the condo complexes right there.
Okay.
There is no city property in that area.
Okay, well, that's good. I
Interesting.
guess.
I had somebody ask me about that
I mean,
the other
good for
day.
you. I wasn't sure because you know, we've never had anything in that area before.
Yeah, all of
Um,
that area right there, it's come up several times. People calling to complain to me about it, and sorry.
Yeah, well, I knew it was right along the edge of that parking lot on those condos or whatever those are, apartments there, and then the other side. So I wondered. Some of the other trees, I think this is just kind of a backlog of a few trees because we haven't been talking about it. But on Sutherland Farm Drive, on the entrance side, about a third of the way down. I think this might be on our list from before, Linda. Maybe you will know. There's just a really, really big dead ash tree on the Wallace Farm side of the fence, the board fence, and it hangs over quite a bit onto city property and even on towards the street. And it's been dead probably for over a year, and I'm afraid I really think it's going to start just breaking apart and falling. And if any of it falls, it's very likely it could hit the street or a car.
It already has started dropping. 2 weeks ago, the guys had to go over there, and both of them came down with poison ivy from it. So,
Oh no,
because it's completely covered in poison ivy.
yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
But Rusty told me it's not on city property. Is that right?
It is not.
It's on the wall. Would that be the wall?
Unfortunately, it fell on us. It's dropping stuff on the
Well,
city property.
it's right next to the fence, like almost, I mean, it's crazy how close it is. So that's one tree. And then a little bit further down on the same side. Let me see, so I make this in succession here.
I guess when I said it's not on city property, it's not in the city. Is that correct?
No, it's just hanging over the city property.
Okay.
So,
It is in the city, but it's not so on city property.
Okay.
yeah, good clarification. And then on the also, I'm just trying to. I guess the other couple trees I saw on that same street on the exit side of Southern Farm, if you start back as you're coming out of Innisbrook, there, and I'm sure you've seen it, Ron. There's a good sized dead. I think it's a honey locust that's it's just completely dead. I have a feeling that probably the droughts we've had, the drought last fall, last summer probably affected it. And I have photos of these. If I haven't
Yeah.
sent them
Is it
out.
around the gate area?
Yeah, it's up from the gate area as you're starting to go towards 42, but it's just a couple trees up.
Okay.
There's like a bald cypress there. You know where there's a bald cypress or two?
No,
Has low hanging branches, and then the next. Okay.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, I can send you a photo. And then I think that a little bit further up on your way, like going towards 42, there's also a dead ash tree. Not a real big one. It's about a 10-inch tree that you'll see. So I don't know if the board members want to take a look at those, or Ron, certainly you can look at them since they're on city property there. And then the only other thing I had was tree wise like that would be on Fox Meadow Drive and the estates. And you've probably seen those.
Yeah, I rode back today.
If you start at the entrance off of 42, there's a declining way over half dead smaller spruce. And then a little further up before you get to that, is that called a spring house, Ron, or what's that little building?
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly what that
Before you
is.
get to that, there's a ornamental tree that's kind of up on it's along the edge of the road. It's called a purple leaf plum. It's mostly totally dead. And then as you proceed up past that spring house, there's a large, a good size, I think it was a, let me
River
see.
birch, isn't it?
River birch, yeah. I'm trying to look at my notes and talk, sorry. Yeah, and that's hard for me to do. So on the good side of things, if you all remember about, I think it was 2 falls ago, we planted some green giant arborvitae on the, as you exit, about halfway down, as you exit on Fox Meadow towards 42, and they are really taking off. They are really doing well. They really look good.
Yeah,
So,
haven't we planted a lot of trees in that area, right?
Oh, years ago, yeah.
Mhm.
When you remember when the ash trees, that street was lined with ash trees. And so at one point we all decided, you decided and voted to have those ash trees removed because they were all declining and dying. That was quite a while ago now. I don't know, we could look up what year that was, and those trees on either side are doing really well. They're really starting to make nice, I think, nice street trees.
Easy for you to say.
I'm having a hard time talking today. So,
I did look at those three that you recommended for removal, and yeah, those are all ours. I'll go on and have them removed
on the
on
street.
Fox
Okay.
Meadow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, great. So other than that, the ones on Southern Farm, I don't know, is there anything we can do about that? Does it do any good to contact anybody on the Wallace Farm property or whatever property that is now?
Well, Luca Wallace, and he's out of town, right? I happen to be. We're almost kin, okay? And he's the one to talk to, and he did take a tree down.
I remember a while back, I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Herb, do you have the contact information? So
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
need to follow up with him on that tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would be good. I'm glad you're almost kin. That helps. Maybe we should have Herb call.
Well, I'm actually a step grandfather to his baby. How's that?
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, excuse me. Step great granddad. Yeah.
Wow.
You better get that right, Herb.
Well, first time, so give me a little time.
Hey,
Okay. That
Herb,
sounds
would
promising
you
to get
talk
some of
to-
those trees removed and that Ron's on top of that and knows what's going on. I will bring up a
Sure.
couple of other things that have happened since our last meeting. We did have an owner in Bridgepoint contact us about a tree that had come into their backyard from an adjoining property that's not part of Bridgepoint. And we were able to identify the owner and they were going to follow up on that. The other situation is one that's Jacqueline McGrail has contacted us about a neighbor's tree that has had a history of limbs coming down. It's a mature ash tree, and she thought it was something maybe that there were grounds for the city to be involved. I know Andrea's looked at it, I've looked at it, and there was a recent incident with more big branches down that she had to remove. And I know John and the mayor looked into the issue from a legal standpoint, and we have confirmation that it is primarily it's a private matter between those two owners, and it's not anything that the city or Forestation need to be involved with at this time. Would you kind of agree with my synopsis?
Linda,
Yes.
we communicated that today to Jacqueline.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. I just want everybody to be aware that, it had, the question had been asked and what had happened and what we had learned in the process.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, I did have a question. We submitted our tree plan. I don't know if it's been passed on to council for review and if there were any questions there.
I don't know. John Carter will have to speak to that. It might be in the council packet, but I'm not certain.
It was in the council packet last month.
Okay, so I guess we didn't get any feedback, so I assume they accept what we recommend. Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
We've talked about our hazardous trees. We have Independence Day coming up, and many times we've worked with Parks and Recreation to have an information table. Can't say that the traffic was overwhelming, but there were people that came by and picked up literature and asked questions. So whether we want to try and do that again, and whether we have people that would be available to do that, I'm not sure what the fourth plans are, if we want to do that again. Any comments?
I'd be willing to do it again, but like you said, we sure didn't have very much traffic.
I mean, it was fun to see lots of people and say hello.
Yeah, it was fun to be together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the visibility is good. I think even if, people know you exist if you're there. So I support it for what that's
Okay,
worth.
and Ron and his crew were kind enough to set up a tent and tables for us, and collect the appropriate literature from the parks and the tree brochure to have available, and then we could figure out the hours to be there, because I think it starts some of the things are a lot earlier than I think we need people there, that people start gathering, but we can work on that. So for anybody that's here from Forestation, be thinking about that you might be available to work, and we can follow up with Parks and Recreation and see who might be available there to work with us.
I'm having a family picnic, which I do over in the forest, so I'm not available. Our one of our new members, we might want to make him aware of it.
Yeah, I was gonna
David?
say, we haven't seen a lot of David, but this would be another chance to get him involved and see what's going on.
I can do it anytime, and Cliff will come too. So
Okay. Okay,
I'll
sounds good.
probably be available for an hour or two.
Okay, that sounds good. And I think we only stayed, what did we stay, 2-3 hours that were kind of the prime time of the parade, and when the food trucks were there, that sort of thing. We didn't hang around for the fireworks or anything like that. Okay, so we can put that on our agenda to sort out. I really don't have a whole lot else to talk about today.
Can I bring
Yeah.
up something?
Sure.
Okay, the mayor recently, appointed 2 new members, and one has resigned.
Right.
So there's an opening. It would be great if we could get somebody that maybe wasn't born in the 40s and the 50s. Maybe,
How about the 30s?
I agree. Do you
maybe even
have
the
anyone to
20th
recommend?
century.
maybe the 60s. That sounded better than having all their teeth, but okay. So anyway, I hope the mayor can find a good candidate that's eager and wants to be a good member.
Or we can think about any of the neighbors and friends we have in the community that, have an interest that we know of, and, working in the yard, working with trees, working with plants, that, might be somebody to reach out to.
Yep.
Okay, good
It'd be
suggestion.
nice if we could get somebody from the landings. You could get somebody from the landings.
What about the
Well-
what about the nice lady?
How about that?
Linda, what about the nice lady that came to the meeting who's who's working on the
Yeah,
bridge repairs?
and I think that's the lady that now has 3 trees. I think that
Right,
she
Mandy
could be a
Paul?
good candidate.
Is that
I'll
her
call
name?
her.
Is her name Mandy, did you say?
I think so.
Yeah, I was thinking
But
of
I've got her
too.
name and phone and contact, but I will follow up with her, because we had said that once the trees were established in her yard, we wanted to come take some pictures and put it in the newsletter. But I can, in the meantime, reach out to her and say, hey, we've got an opening. You're interested in trees. Please join us.
Right.
Linda, if you'll send me her contact information, I'll contact her.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Perfect. I will do
Yeah,
that.
I'll be glad to do that.
Thank you.
If somebody's interested in photos, the tree I bought is doing great, and it's adjacent to the 2 elms that the city put in. It's in the lot next to my home.
Is that the Zelkova?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
the 3 trees are looking really good, and that was just a bare area, and so they're now taking carbon into the ground, which is good.
Good deal.
That's all your TLC, Herb, on all three of those trees.
Yeah.
Probably helps.
Herb has a green thumb.
Well, I have watered them at times, I will admit.
That does make a
I'm
difference.
sure you have.
Okay, anything else people would like to discuss? Okay, Connie.
Yes.
Well, we
me-
had an issue with trees being identified as hazardous, but they're still standing after a year. And what to do about that?
So I've talked with Linda about that. We've got an issue we're working on, Lee.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I have some further thoughts on that we can continue that discussion, but it does remind me, I had one other topic that should be out there. And we had the request come in. I know Lee had mentioned it and Doug, you had mentioned it about a friend in Fox Harbor that had passed and that there was an interest in planting another memorial tree. And
We're already
the
collecting money.
question about the approximate cost, and I think Lee had already said it typically is around $500 for the tree and the planting and the memorial plaque. And so then it becomes a question of where to put the tree. Little Hunting Creek Park, I think, is getting kind of full, but
Right.
there is the
Let
area.
me tell you something about Little Hunting Creek Park. You know,
Okay.
there is a plan to make improvements in US 42. And part of the plan is a sidewalk in that area, a multi-use path.
Herb, could you say that again? I didn't catch that. You said there's a
Okay.
plan.
There is a plan to make improvements to US 42. It's a part of the roundabouts. Now, it's nothing is, definite, but it's planned. And in fact, there's going to be a public hearing on it sometime in July. Well, I think some of the big trees there at 42 are going to probably come down. So, we may need to be thinking about some trees farther back from US 42 on Little Honey Creek.
Okay, that's
So
something we can
will
think
that go
about.
back to the state right of way, the edge of the state right of way? Is that how that would
I
work?
think the right of way is going to get increased.
Oh, it is. Because right now, as I recall, you correct me, I think it's like 50 feet from the center line, isn't it? To the edge of the road.
I don't know exactly. I look at a map that
Right.
the drawings that the engineers do and that kind of thing. And it's,
I got that from one of the roadside administrators one time a while back. I don't know if that's still correct or whatever. So they may go beyond where the board fence is along the edge of that area. Go back further than that.
I don't want to start it. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up, but well, yeah, I need to bring it up. I don't know exactly, but it's something we need to be thinking about. Those are really, really big trees. And, if we plant, nothing's going to happen if it does happen, till 2030.
Mm.
Well, hopefully sooner than that, 2028, 2029, according to that chronology they gave us, Herb.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they did move it up. Yes.
Well,
So-
when you find out what that plan exactly is, you definitely could start
Well,
proactive.
let me mention, Herb mentioned there's a public meeting. It's going to be scheduled for Wednesday, July 16th. And it will be, almost certainly it will be at the St. Francis Episcopal Church at Wolf Pen and US 42. And representatives of the transportation cabinet will be there. I'll be there. Other people who are knowledgeable about this project will be there with diagrams and videos and all kinds of things. And that's a perfect time for this group to be represented, to ask their questions of the people who have at least preliminary answers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that will be important information. And if we can do some proactive planning once we have the information, I think that would be a great idea. One thought on back to the memorial tree that would probably not want to wait that long to be planted is the area just past the main little Hunting Creek Park that's kind of open. There's a little parking pull-in and a trash can there. There is one memorial tree there, and I think there might be room for another tree in that area. And I think it would be nice for this individual's memorial, because he was a Fox Harbor resident, to do something within that
Maybe.
community if we can.
Right. Some of those areas right there tend to be really, really wet. So we just have to, you know,
And I don't know if
keep
the
that in
family
mind.
has a preference in terms of the tree that's planted, so there may be some flexibility there.
Right, right. Well, the other memorial tree, well, there's two of them there, I think, but the one is a large Dawn redwood. And I've been noticing how well that's been doing. That used to
Yeah,
be,
you moved that tree and
Right.
it
know.
really paid off. The tree is
it
growing
loves that.
fantastically.
It really likes that spot. It used to be for some of you that may or may not know, it used to be in a median on Hunting Creek Drive. Isn't that correctly? I think that's
I
where
think it is. Yeah,
It was
there were
up
some
there,
things that were
yes.
it
moved.
was not in a good spot, and we moved it, and it's just thriving where it is, which is great. That's it's really a specimen unusual tree for you all to have.
I'll mention the money is already starting to come in for the memorial tree. We've got a couple $100 already in hand.
Great,
So I don't think there's going to be any problem putting the money together.
putting the money together. Right, it
Now,
was
are
just,
either of you
I was
in
just-
contact with the widow so that you might know what their preferences are, if they have any?
Yes, we're in communication with her.
Okay.
We've
Okay,
got
good.
he was a member of the Romeo's breakfast group, so he's well known to Lee
Okay,
and
sounds good.
me.
So that'll be a work in progress.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
Linda, can I mention one other thing
absolutely.
about US 42? We had petitioned the Transportation Cabinet to lower the speed limit on US 42 between Harrods Creek Bridge and River Road. And the Secretary of the Cabinet has signed an order lowering that speed limit from 45 to 35.
Great.
All right.
Awesome.
So hopefully there'll be some new
80.
signs up. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some new signs up and get some enforcement there and get that new speed limit in place. And it's good in preparation for the roundabouts, because the speed limit that they planned on in that area anyway is 35. You will not be able to go 35 miles an hour around the roundabouts. It'll slow traffic more than that, but it's going to be a good step.
That's great.
Sounds
Yes.
great.
That's a
Good
big
news.
accomplishment.
Good
Say
news.
something totally off topic. There's a tree as you go up toward the Hunting Creek Country Club that looks like it's dead. And I'm sure it belongs to the country club, but we might want to ask them to take a look at it and take it out.
Is that the evergreen that's kind of on the
Yes.
right-hand side?
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
trimmed it, but there's still a chunk left.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll send Zeke an email. I'll do
Good.
that right after this meeting.
Okay, good deal.
Hey,
All right,
Connie,
well-
you got a visa to come up the hill?
No, I don't. I was waiting for you to give me.
No,
a
she doesn't need a
passport.
visa. She doesn't need a visa. She needs a green card.
There you go.
Oh, gosh. Anything else from anybody? All right.
Well, I'll
Guess
just
we need a
mention.
motion to adjourn.
I'll just mention my appreciation to this group. This has been very successful. A lot of good things have happened in Prospect over the past years, thanks to the work of this team. So keep up the good
Oh.
work.
Thank
Doug,
you.
you are the best mayor.
And
you
we
really
appreciate
take
your
good care
support.
of
That
us.
makes a difference too. Makes our job easier.
Really. You're terrific.
Well,
Okay,
thanks.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Hey,
what-
Ron did a pretty good job being mayor where you were going too, Doug.
Oh, yeah. He gave us a
Oh.
big raise.
Yeah,
Linda, I'm here.
Yes,
I'm here though. I didn't say anything, but I'm here.
we've seen you.
Okay, good.
Hi, Sylvia.
We know you're here. Do you have anything you want to bring up at this time?
I do not.
Okay, thanks, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you all. And our next
you.
meeting
Thanks,
is July
everybody.
10th.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you
Great
all.
to see you.